You're spending thousands of dollars on a vacation, and you're trusting advice from Becky in a Facebook group who read somewhere that you can still get a free room upgrade if you just smile real big at check-in? Yikes. In this episode, I'm breaking down the chaos that happens when Facebook plans your vacation and what a real travel professional can do to save the day.
Ready for your fast pass to unforgettable adventures? Welcome to Talk Travel to Me. Featuring our Mickey Guru Travel Company expert travel advisors, this podcast will guide you in traveling with more ease, confidence, and a sprinkle of magic. Tune in for unique insights, insider info, tips, and personal travel stories that'll transform your journeys into exhilarating moments and lifelong memories. Fasten your seatbelt, grab your passport, let's embark, and let's talk travel.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk Travel to Me. I'm Christy Willett, founder of this here podcast and of Mickey Guru Travel Company. I'm coming to you with another solo episode, not necessarily by choice, but out of necessity. Our team has been so busy traveling, helping their clients, as well as, raising kids, running households, and living life. So scheduling this podcast recording has been rough. So, okay, without further ado, let's get to it because I am feeling pretty passionate about this topic. I get it. Facebook groups feel like the perfect place to start when you're planning a vacation. There's a sense of community, you're getting real-time advice from people who've been there, done that, and it's all just a quick post away. You can even do it at 2 a.m. when you're doom scrolling. Not that I know anything about that. It feels helpful, and honestly, sometimes it is. But here's the thing, not all advice is created equal. And when you're planning a trip that costs thousands of dollars, involves tight schedules, high expectations, and maybe even a few little ones in tow, you need more than opinions. You need expertise. In today's episode, I'm digging into the difference between crowdsourced chaos and professionally guided planning. I'll share some real examples of what can go wrong when Facebook becomes your travel agent and how working with someone who knows the in and outs, like a travel advisor with Mickey Guru Travel Company, can do to completely change your experience. If you've ever found yourself 200 comments deep in a thread wondering what the right answer might actually be, this one's for you. Let's start with talking about the trap around crowdsourcing. So honestly, like you might hop on Facebook in your town group and say, where's the best butcher in town? Or I know my favorite Chinese restaurant closed recently. What else is good in the area? That kind of stuff can give you some answers. Although I have to say, it's so funny to me because in our local town group, there's a battle about the best Chinese restaurant. And it's funny because some people are like, oh, don't ever go to this place. It's awful and the service is horrible. Then you get other people that are like, I go to this place every Friday night and it has got the best chicken fried rice or whatever, right? So like you can't even find people that have necessarily a consensus on something as simple as the local Chinese restaurant that you're going to go to and spend what, 50, $60? All right, let's be real, $100. So when you're using that kind of a format to help take care of your vacation that is thousands and thousands of dollars. And also, perhaps even more importantly, the only 7 days of vacation time you're going to get with your family this summer. So Facebook groups do give you the illusion of expertise though, because you'll see people go, oh, I've been to Disney 4 times, or I've been to Disney every year since 1971. And it gives you a kind of like a false sense of security because you're like, wow, they've gone a lot, they must know. But honestly, that doesn't mean that they understand the logistics, they understand current policies, or you. Right? This is another thing that happens a lot where looking in Facebook groups and someone will say, they'll post a question saying, I want to take my kids on vacation. They're 7 and 9. We hate the beach. What should we go do? Okay, I know that your kids are 7 and 9, but all I know beyond that is that you hate the beach. What do you like? What kind of vacation are you looking for? Are you going to be go, go, go? Do you want to relax? Like, what does this look like? And if you think about even yourself, right? Like, there needs to be some sort of a mutual understanding about the kind of experience you're looking for. So I often will comment on those posts, honestly, and say, oh, it really depends on your family. Like, are you looking for things to do inside? Do you hate bugs? Does the heat bother you? You know, like all of these other things, which that is my training as a professional travel advisor that is coming into play there. But I'm trying to make a point that I just can't throw things out. Otherwise, I'll be like, hey, the best Chinese food restaurant has egg foo young. And you might be like, well, I don't ever eat that. What even is that, right? The other thing that can come up is the overload effect, right? So, like I've mentioned with the Chinese restaurants, like you'll get conflicting advice. You get emotional opinions. I can't tell you the number of times I've seen people post questions about Disney and someone coming up and saying, "Oh my gosh, it's not worth it. You should stay home. Go to your local amusement park." All of this stuff, right? There's just so much opinion out there as well as outdated information. To be fair, I have spoken to people that, went to Disney a lot prior to 2020. When I tell you that it has changed dramatically since then, I am not overreacting. So someone that might tell you, "Oh my gosh, the best thing you could possibly do is you've got to go to the luau over at the Polynesian resort." Friends, that's not existed for years and years. So when you're looking at that kind of information that's kind of flowing, keeping in mind what that is. Now, in preparation for this episode, I actually have been grabbing screenshots of things that I have seen in Facebook groups, specifically around the idea of planning Disney trips. But I should probably stop for a second and just talk about the fact that this really goes into play for any kind of vacation planning, right? You could be looking for a resort in the Bahamas, or I want to go on a cruise. What's the best one to take? Like, all of these kinds of things. So it's not just Disney, although that's kind of what I'm focusing in now on because that's the screenshots that I grabbed. And to be fair, there is way more Disney planning groups out there than probably anything else combined. But I grabbed some screenshots so that I could read to you what the question that was posed originally, and then some of the answers, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what sense to make out of any of that. Okay. So first up, we have Emily T, and she is a first-time Disney mom. And her quote was, "We're going to the Magic Kingdom in July. Do I really need Genie Plus? I heard it's a waste of money because the park isn't that crowded anymore since they got rid of Fast Pass. We're fine with waiting a little, right? Kids are 3 and 5, so we probably won't do the big rides anyway." All right. Listen, I'm recording this episode on Monday, July 14th, right about 4:30 p.m. So I just popped open the My Disney Experience app so I can look at the wait times in the Magic Kingdom. And I'm seeing a few short waits for sure. Like if you want to go see Mickey's PhilharMagic, it's a 5-minute wait. Perfect spot to be, by the way, right now, because there's also that afternoon thunderstorm rolling through. But the other places where you might want to take your 3 and 5-year-old, like Peter Pan's Flight, that ride is currently at a 45-minute standby wait. Pirates of the Caribbean, I say it differently every time, guys. 55-minute wait. Tron, which to be fair would be for the parents, most likely your 5-year-old is not quite tall enough for it, but that's at 70 minutes right now. The idea that it's not that crowded in July, now it is less crowded than it used to be in the summertime, that I will give you. But it is not empty. It is not, a barren wasteland where you're going, hello, hello, hello. It is a busy theme park. There are a lot of families there on vacation. So that is kind of the thing that we're looking at here. Now, here are a couple of the responses to her post. Jessica M. "We didn't use Genie Plus and we were fine. Just rope drop 7 dwarves and do everything else after lunch." What? You're gonna have rope drop, which is this morning was at 8 a.m. and then you're gonna do nothing else until lunchtime? Okay, Jessica. Karen R. "Absolutely do not waste your money. The lines aren't that bad if you plan it right." Tyler D. "Get Genie Plus and stack lightning lanes starting at 7 a.m. It's the only way to survive the July heat." Hey, Tyler, first of all, Genie Plus was discontinued over a year ago. And you can't stack lightning lanes until they are in progress, which doesn't happen until the park opens in full force. So, yes, stacking lightning lanes is a great little tip and something we share with our clients, but it's your timing is off, friend. If you people think they're going to start doing it at 7 a.m., it's not going to work. Brittany S., don't listen to anyone who tells you it's not worth it. It saved our entire trip. Ashley W., you only get 3 rides per day anyway, so what's the point? So the interesting thing is these people who I do believe are well-meaning, they want to offer some information about their experience, what worked for them. They're missing the point and some crucial information, right? And I will say, I do have conversations with clients that say, I think based on your family, based on what you're looking to do, based on the number of times you are going to be at the Magic Kingdom in the next couple of years, I think you should get lightning lanes. I think it makes sense. Or I've also said, I would skip it. I would skip it. And we get into those conversations about why that information, why that piece of advice would be different for the Smith family versus the Jones family. It's not a one size fits all, but I can promise you that I know the difference between Genie Plus, Fast Passes, and Lightning Lanes. And lots of people in these comments did not. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one was from Becky H. And she said, we stayed at All Star Sports last year, and honestly, it's exactly the same as the deluxe resorts, but way cheaper. Don't waste your money. Disney is Disney no matter where you stay. Okay. If you have been here before, you know I'm a bougie girl, so this kind of like rattled my cage a little bit. To be honest, All Star Sports is a nice place. Whether it's right for you, though, that's the question. And saying that it is the same as a deluxe resort, oh boy, there's just so much wrong with that. I mean, we've got everything from the differences in location, like you could stay at a deluxe resort that's literally steps to the Magic Kingdom from your hotel room. You could stay at a resort that is a Skyliner away from Epcot and Hollywood Studios. And, what? Location is a big deal. I mean, if you think about it in real estate, right? Location, location, location. But thinking about that in comparison as well with room size, the value resorts, the rooms are small. They are. There's no getting around that. They also have exterior hallways. Do you want a hotel room where you are inside a building completely? Are you okay with that exterior hallway? Transportation options, amenities. I have one client that she goes to Disney every year, and one of the most important things for her family is that there is a water slide at the pool. She doesn't want to go to the water parks. She wants to be able to just go and hang out at her hotel pool and the kids to have a water slide. Well, guess what? There are no water slides at the value resorts. Now, for you and I, that may not matter. But when I'm talking to a client who talks about how much her kids love water slides, well, we're going to have that conversation that kind of just wipes out a certain category of hotels. And then there also is this overall guest experience between value and deluxe resorts. And here's the thing, it is so different depending on what it is that you are looking for. Now, the responses in Facebook, let's talk about it. Melissa T, 100% agree. We stayed at All Star Movies and had no issues. Why pay more? And then Steve N comes rolling in. Disagree. We stayed at the Polynesian last time and it was night and day. You get what you pay for. Amy L, they're all Disney hotels, so it doesn't really matter. You're only sleeping there. Tina B, deluxe is nice but overrated. We use that money for extra park days and souvenirs. Rachel K, I booked All Star and ended up Ubering everywhere. Next time I'm going deluxe just for the convenience. You can kind of see the point I'm trying to make there, that while these people all had, slightly different experiences, they're all accurate. They're telling you, right? You're only sleeping at the hotel. What do you care? Because to be honest, the all-star resorts are just as clean as you're going to find at the Polynesian. They're also going to be a lot cheaper. But if you're only sleeping there, then yeah, maybe it makes sense to do a value resort. But if you're the kind of person who wants to have a relaxed vacation, you want to enjoy your hotel amenities, you want to enjoy some kind of serene and quiet, while I may not recommend the Polynesian, I might be talking about the Riviera or even Yacht Club. So understanding that these experiences are all valid, but they also have nothing to do with what some families are looking for, right? I always love the time that I'm planning trips for either adults or people that aren't traveling with little children. And I'm like, hey, let's talk about Coronado Springs Resort. It doesn't have a whole lot of kids because it doesn't have anything really to draw them. Well, except for that water slide, which is pretty cool. Okay, Mark R is a cruise newbie. He's never been on a cruise before, and he's hopping onto Facebook to find out about this travel insurance scam thing that he's been hearing about. So he wrote, do I really need travel insurance for our cruise? Isn't it just a scam? I read somewhere that most credit cards cover that stuff, and we're not checking bags or flying, so I think we're good. Oh, Mark. I am going to do a full episode soon on travel insurance and why it's not a scam and the various options for coverage that are out there. But Mark. Well, let's hear what your Facebook friends had to say first. Brian J said, nope, we've cruised 10 times and never bought insurance. Total waste. Oof. Susan P, yes, my husband had a medical emergency in Mexico and the insurance saved us $12,000. Laura H, only buy it if you're flying, otherwise you're probably fine. Laura doesn't really care much because it's not her $15,000 you're spending on a cruise, right? So she's like, hey, whatever. Derek M, some credit cards cover you automatically. Check your benefits. Haley C, we didn't get it and our flights got canceled. Never again. So we're all over the place here, right? Some people are like, yeah, you need it. Some people think you only need it if you're flying. There's just all these different opinions here. And the reality is, yes, based on your individual situation, the coverage provided by your credit card could be enough. It could be. But also, is it? Have you read the fine print? Do you know for sure? Because I have had so many clients, you guys, so many clients that have either purchased the insurance or skipped it, and then something happened, right? Something out of the expected, something crazy happens. So we had one client that literally got hit by a car. He was a pedestrian crossing a street, got hit by a car a couple days before his family's multi-generational cruise. He got hit by a car. He ended up in surgery the day that the cruise ship took off. Well, he wasn't on it, and it was heartbreaking. You also see it if you're on social media at all. You've seen the videos of people crying and saying something horrible happened, and now the cruise line will not help us and my family, and now we've lost all our money, and blah, blah, blah. The cruise contract is very clear. They recommend that you purchase insurance as well because they want you to be covered if something happens. And I think that, the one that sticks to me the most is I had a client that she did buy the insurance. Her husband didn't want the insurance. She decided to buy it because she was like, oh, I don't know. We've got little kids that something could happen. And while they were on the cruise ship, they were on the Disney Dream. I'll honestly never forget it. It's been probably 10 years. They were on the Disney Dream, and first child number one had a raging fever, woke up in the middle of the night, had a massive fever. They couldn't get it to tamper down. And they ended up going to the health's medical clinic on the ship, which doesn't take your private medical insurance. And they take your credit card unless you have travel insurance. She ended up paying about $700 to have her child seen, to be diagnosed with raging ear infections and getting antibiotics. But she actually didn't pay anything. They submitted it to the insurance company. The insurance company paid for it. So she was fine. But then hold on, because there's more. A couple days later, we had child number two was jumping on the bed. Not something we advise, but something that children sometimes do. And the child fell off the bed and snapped their ankle. Yeah. Can you hear that in your head? Like as you're listening to this, can you hear that what that sound might have been like? Ooh. That child needed to get off the ship at the next stop, which was Nassau, Bahamas. The child needed to have surgery. On the break because I'm not a medical person. So I'm just going to say they had to have surgery. Doctors, parents, everybody agreed they had to have surgery in the Bahamas, and the insurance covered the entire thing. That bill alone was going to cost that family, if they had to pay it like while they were there before they leave the hospital, was going to cost them somewhere around $25,000. Who has that? Who has that? And this is for just two very plain possible things that could happen at any point without any warning, right? So the idea that you would take a trip without having the insurance or without really understanding the benefits of your credit card or understanding that your health insurance that you have from your job does not work in foreign countries in almost every case. So, that is one of those things that people in your Facebook group, like Brian, who's cruised 10 times and never bought insurance. Okay, Brian, I hope you've got a four-leaf clover in your pocket and you're making a wish on every star you see because you've lucked out. It doesn't mean that insurance is a waste. It means you've lucked out. The only people that I say you never have to buy insurance or don't even think about it are people that are independently wealthy who, if they were to get a $25,000, $50,000 bill for a medical expense while they're out at sea or on their vacation doing something, if you don't need that money, then go for it. Right? So if I'm selling a trip to, let's say, Kelly Clarkson, maybe Kelly Clarkson doesn't actually need the insurance. So those are just some examples that I pulled, grabbed those screenshots, but hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast, I bet you're on Facebook. I bet you're in some of these groups. And I would love to have you just start thinking about them a little bit differently when you see them pop up and wonder, are the answers to their getting to these questions, are they actually specific enough to be of help to these people, or is it going to actually cause a little bit of confusion? So let's talk a little bit about if you decide not to go the Facebook route, how a travel professional can make a difference in your experience. So first of all, one of our main goals, because we know that everybody's in these Facebook groups, heck, we're in the Facebook groups as well, we're paying attention to them. We're going to help you filter through the noise and get relevant info for your trip, right? If you're going in February to Walt Disney World, you don't really need to worry about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. You don't need to worry about the cost of the party, of the crowds, or any of that, right? So we're going to help you go, here's what we need to worry about in February. Here's when Pop Warner cheerleaders are coming into town. Here is when we need to think about the Princess Half Marathon weekend. And yeah, if that's the only time you can go, we're just going to help you create a plan so that you don't encounter much, if any, disruptions caused by the half marathon event. We're also going to help you avoid costly mistakes. And I think you could probably tell what I was feeling when I mentioned the travel insurance. I think not getting travel insurance can be a costly mistake. Yours to make, though. I'm not here to push you into anything that you don't want, and neither are my agents. But we're going to talk about how to schedule your flights. Because if you have a layover, it is legal for them to give you a really short connection in Baltimore. I fly Southwest a lot, so that's the first one that kind of popped in my head. It's legal for a 45-minute connection in Baltimore. Is it wise? Nah, not really. Is it more than not wise? Is it actually really irresponsible if you're doing it in February? Yes, because snow happens in Baltimore in February. And so if we're looking at that situation, we want to make sure that we are putting together all of these little things that could come together and cost you thousands of dollars. And not only money, but time and stress on your family and all of that. We also stay up to date on real policies at the destinations you're going to. So I can't tell you, this is kind of a funny little tangent, I guess. There's a website out there and they have TikTok accounts and Instagram accounts. They actually create false information to flood social media platforms so that they kind of get people going. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, right? people giving false information on the internet on purpose. But this particular channel does that. That's their shtick. So much so that they were telling people not that long ago that the castle in Orlando was being taken down, that they decided they weren't going to have the castle as a piece anymore. I had 3 clients reach out to me and say, I need to book a last minute trip because I need to go before the castle gets taken down. I'm sorry, what? So the idea that you're depending on the internet, even well-meaning people, which I do believe most people are, is going to cause you a lot of stress and anxiety. We also, every single morning, I mean, every single morning, I get an email from Disney. I get an email from Universal. I get an email from the cruise lines, and it's their highlighted information, the stuff that I need to know so that I can prepare my clients to go and have a good experience. And then finally, we're going to help you plan based on your needs, not what a stranger on the internet thinks you should do or what worked for them. I just can't say that enough. It really does make an incredible difference when you've got somebody asking questions about your family and what you enjoy and not planning from a spot where you're like, oh, well, everybody says this or everybody says that. And I honestly, I will give you kind of another example. I absolutely love Disney's Wilderness Lodge. It is an intro level deluxe. It is located on the shores of Bay Lake, which is a short boat ride away from the Magic Kingdom. It is my favorite resort, but I don't put all my clients there. In fact, I really qualify clients to make sure that the Wilderness Lodge is going to be it for them. I want them to be thrilled and excited. I've stayed at all of the resorts. I have actually stayed at all of the Disney World resorts at least once in the last 5 years. So post COVID, I have stayed at every single one of them. And the reason I do that is so that when someone says to me, I was thinking about maybe wanting to stay at the boardwalk, but I'm also kind of thinking that maybe the Riviera might be more of what I'm thinking of. I can have an actual conversation with them about what's appealing about the boardwalk, what is appealing about the Riviera. Let's talk about pros and cons because there are a lot of different options available. And my goal as your professional travel advisor and the goal of all of the people on my team is to find the right resort for you, to decide with you whether a base ticket where you go to one theme park a day is good for you, or if you require a park hopper ticket, which is going to cost you a little bit more. So I'm not really worried about the metrics and what Disney says I should be selling more of this and I should be selling more of that. That is not how I operate, and it's not how the team that I have put together operates either. We are client focused first. So I happen to like the dining plan. I do, but I don't sell it nearly as much as someone would like me to because it's not my trip, it's yours. So I want it to be that way, okay? All right, so let's just say it for real. I'm not anti-Facebook. I actually spend way too much time on that platform. I do. I enjoy Facebook groups. I enjoy reading people's experiences and trip reports and all kinds of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I am looking to make sure that you have the best experience possible. So I am pro you. I am on team you. And I want to make sure that your experience is as customized to what you are looking to experience as humanly possible. And that is just not going to happen for you in a Facebook group when you're asking some of these questions. That's just the way it is. So, bottom line, Facebook can be great for getting inspiration, swapping fun stories, but when it comes to planning a smooth, stress-free, and truly magical vacation, you deserve more than guesses, opinions, and outdated advice. Working with a travel professional like the team at Mickey Guru Travel Company isn't about adding extra steps. It's about skipping the confusion, avoiding those mistakes, and getting a customized plan that actually works for you. If today's episode made you rethink who you're trusting with your vacation plans, and let's just be real, Becky H isn't cutting it for you, I'd love to help. You can reach out anytime or connect with any one of the incredible advisors on our team at Mickey Guru Travel Company. We are here to make your vacation feel easy, exciting, and exactly what you want it to be. Thanks for listening. And hey, next time you see someone asking for a planning advice in a Facebook group, maybe you could just send them a link to this episode. That'd be awesome. See you real soon, friends.
Thanks for listening to Talk Travel to Me. We hope this episode cracked open inspiration for the treasures that await you at your next dream destination. If you love the show, please review, subscribe, and share it with a friend. At Mickey Guru Travel Company, we're your trusted guides for theme parks, cruises, resorts, and more. Visit our website at mickey guru.com to learn more and book your vacation today.